Hey, morning, it's Mike. What do you think of that intro? I threw it together last night because I figured I needed something, if I'm going to have this series, ongoing thing, I should have like opening title or something. But I think the whistling part is a Fleetwood Mac song that's been repressively stuck in my brain since the 80s, so I might switch it up. Anyway, that's not the important part. So hey, it's Saturday, 21st of April. I'm heading out on the first leg of this 4,500 mile quest and journey across the country. When I'm going to these high points, it's obviously the most important part for me is getting that flag up to the top, posting and sharing that with everyone. But I thought I would bring you guys along on video and show you what else goes on for me personally. As a veteran that struggles with mental health issues, and the things that I find on these journeys, the things that my therapy, the ways of coping, all these different aspects to these trips, and how it makes it more than just rewarding for me, but helps my recovery. And so if there's another veteran, or anyone for that matter out there that's tuning in, maybe you find something, maybe I'm able to share something or point something out or introduce something that you might find useful. And I know at least it works for this one guy. And when I look at our group at Summit for Soldiers, we're on to something. We're doing something right. So if it's not this, it's something that we have going on these outings, or when we get together, whatever it may be. So anyway, I'm heading west, and our crew actually is out east at Seneca Rocks, West Virginia. They moved out there last night to set up for a long weekend of camping and hiking and chilling around the campfire. They're probably in a big, massive Nerf gun war by now. It's really cool to watch our participants plan and organize and lead these trips on their own, take ownership of Summit for Soldiers. There could be no greater reward for me than to see this thing grow legs, because it tells me that maybe we are onto something. And I don't know, it's pretty exciting. So my first stop this morning is going to be at the John Crone Memorial 5K. Major Crone is one of our silently fallen veterans represented on our silently fallen flag, along with 35 other brothers and sisters. And they all represent the over 8,000 veterans we lose to suicide each year. 8,000 veterans. This is the largest demographic of the over 40,000 Americans we lose to suicide each year. This is the 10th leading cause of death. And by the end of today, we will have lost another 20 to 22 veterans. I find myself surrounded with this issue of suicide, not only because I've lost friends, but the families and the outreach that our organization does, but personally. I've struggled with these issues. I struggle with suicidal tendencies, and I've even attempted to take my own life. And we'll talk more later about my own struggles and issues throughout this series, and how I've come to live with it, or work with it, or therapy, whatever you may call it. But the one thing that is definite is the stigma and the taboo that surrounds this issue of suicide. My wife puts it really good. If you die of a heart attack, everybody's coming over with the casserole dish. You're able to talk about, what led up to the loss of that loved one, and not that it's any less tragic or any, less painful or sad, but a family that's lost to suicide, everybody tends to go around the corner whispering, not knowing what to say. That's the stigma and taboo we got to fight against. Because if we're not going to begin to tear down these barriers, then how are people ever going to reach out for help? So check it out. The John Crone 5K Memorial is a pretty cool event. John's wife was a teacher, or is a teacher, and her students started this memorial several years ago. They organize and plan and put this whole event together. And it's pretty cool because one of our programs at Summit for Soldiers is our New Leader program. And that's where we kind of take our stories and we take the information and the resources that are available and get in front of students, ROTC, that next generation, and empower them with what they need to enter into their careers, especially if it's in the military, and from the ground up, eliminate the stigma and promote early detection and treatment before things get too far down the road and they start self-destructing. And we've seen some pretty awesome stuff come out of the kids at this high school that move on to their colleges and other places. And the other cool thing about John was he was a mountaineer, and so Don gave us some of his stuff to Summit for Soldiers, and it lives on in our adventures and outings through our other veterans that we're reaching out to. So it's pretty cool. So I had a chance to talk with Carolina Crone, John's daughter, and she had some pretty cool things to say about it.
I think shooting skeet, he always would, I can picture it almost. Shooting skeet, he would always yell out the golden BB when you would see it break, just because of the one BB that would break the clay. Stomp his foot on the ground. That golden BB, that golden BB. I'm like, oh dear. At least you got it, at least you got it. Goofball. What else is there? Being a coach, he was my coach, which he really was a good coach. He
what did
was.
He coach?
Well, me.
Oh.
That was the biggest joke was my high school didn't have a shooting team or anything. So he went out, got me a Letterman jacket. I was Avon High Power, and everyone's like, you have a high power team? No, me, no one else. And all that. And I mean, we shot every Tuesday, went up to West Lafayette, did a shoot, everything. But he would always joke when we would go to nationals that my biggest handicap was that I had him for a coach. I was like, well, you're pretty good. He's like, yeah, you're doing better than me. I'm like, means you're teaching me better than yourself, apparently.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, he was a goofball.
So it was in high school, or is it?
Yes.
So they since get
all through high school.
Get a shooting club?
No, sadly no.
So you like to climb. What's the picture where he's climbing? Is that in?
That's in Germany, or the Swiss Alps. I forget. It's the borderline.
Okay.
That is the Matterhorn, I believe, which he was very proud, very, very proud of that one. Very proud. I need to find. We have other pictures. I'll have to send them to you sometime. That he did a lot of the rock climbing in throughout Germany, and then. When we went and visited him, we did rock climbing, which there's a great picture. I was so proud of myself because I was belaying for him, and he's like up top. I'm like, his life is in my hands right now. It was the best thing ever. So, yeah, no, he picked it up a lot when he was on his Germany deployment, which would have been 2008, I think. But got a lot of good friends out of that.
That's cool.
So, yeah.
Thanks. Appreciate that.
Well, I can tell what's been going on. It's the same old thing, just a different town. And I have walked within a mile or two, and the only difference is our point of view. It's a power play between right and wrong. Without a care, I fear it won't be long to just walk away. At times like this, no reason left for you to second guess what's in me. Get away from me. set to capture me. So lock the door and throw away the key and let me be. Get away from me and this beast inside of me. And set me free from this rage inside of me. This hopeless cause seems so far-fetched, but even a little hope, is there something left in me? Get away from me and set me free from this beast inside of me. And let me be with this rage inside of me. Get away from me with this beast inside of me. And rescue me from this rage inside of me. This beast inside of me. This rage inside of me. This beast inside of me. Won't you rescue me? Listen, I wrote that song one evening out of the anger and frustration I felt, as if I was conformed to this mental health box and no escape, as my life had been planned out. But I'm telling you, there is hope, there is rescue. Even if we don't see it, even if we don't feel it's there, it's there. One thing I've learned is every problem has a solution, a positive solution. And the first thing you need to do is just find that battle buddy. Okay, find that person you can trust and confide in and not worry about all this other stuff. Just somebody you can vent to. And that's what we're doing at Summit for Soldiers. Our group, we go on these outings, yeah, but that's not the basis of what we're about. You look at the ingredients of suicide. You got booze, you got a weapon, you got the issue you're struggling with, and you got isolation. Well, we're the group that's going to sit down and have a beer with you. We're not about to grab your weapon out of your hand. I cannot fix my own issues, let alone yours. But what we can do is remove that isolation. And that's what we do. Meet you right where you're at. Forget the do's and don'ts, just to have a place to go. And while we do this in the outdoors and we get in the outdoors and our activities and we have a good time, that's just what we do. What we're about is creating that network of support for one another that lasts long after the trips and the outings. Trusted friends that we can call upon when we're having a bad day. So if you're feeling that way, there's an email right here, okay? Send me a note. I'll get back to you, all right? I'll reach out to you. If you need to talk to somebody, if you need to vent, I will help research what's in your area if you need a group to get a hold of. But do something, all right? Hang in there. There's always hope. All right. Tomorrow I head off to Tomsock, the high point of Missouri, to carry the silently fallen flag onto that high point, and so we'll see you tomorrow. All right, lay that.
It's rage inside of